Okay, so it looks like a good group. Welcome everyone to the NABT webinar hosted by Visible Body. We are very excited for the presentation that we have for you today, and we are very happy to have you in our audience. Today we are going to go over a demonstration of our newest app, which is Visible Biology, which is why you are all here. Very excited to show you what we have and how, more importantly, how you can use it with your students. And then we also have so that will be demonstrated by our very own Allie Hardy, and she's going to go through that presentation for you. And then we're going to hold our questions because the second part of our presentation will be from Richard Mantrana, who is a teacher at Miami Southwest Senior High School, and he has been using Visible Body and Visible Body courseware with his students for the past year. So he's going to give you a firsthand experience of what he has done with these tools. He has primarily been using this with our anatomy and physiology content because Visible Body Biology is brand new. So he'll give you his perspective from that product, and then we'll open it up for questions. If in the meantime you don't want to wait for your question, you need to get it out of your head, you can certainly put that in the Q&A box or the chat box, and then we'll take a look at those at the end. So without further ado, I'm going to give it over to Allie to begin with our Visible Biology.
All right. Hello, everybody. As Christy Lynn mentioned, my name is Allie, and today we will be walking through the newest addition to Visible Body's product suite, and it is titled Visible Biology. I will share my screen, and the main menu here, just to kind of give you the lay of the land. So each topic has its own row, and within each row, we have a few different types of learning assets. We have our traditional 3D models that are interactive. We have animations, and we have brand new 3D interactive simulations that I'm excited to show you. So we can start off by diving into two different units, and then from there we'll look at some more of the feature-focused things, and then we'll take a look at some application. So to get started, we can dive in to the genetics unit. So this is our eukaryotic chromosome model, and here we have 4 levels of information, if you will. We have the DNA double helix, we have the nucleosomes, the chromatin, and the chromosome. So as the instructor, you can teach with this model from one of 2 ways. You can start with the DNA model and show the coiling and the supercoiling into the chromosome, or you can start from the chromosome level and show the unwinding, the uncoiling into the DNA double helix. While we are here, I will show you that in any of our 3D models, you can click on any structure to get detailed information in our content box. So here we have identification. I'll click on the sugar phosphate backbone, and we have the identification, definition, and pronunciation. This little information box will give kind of a high-level overview of what is being depicted in the model. So if we want to take this to the next level and kind of dive deeper into this double helix, I'm going to access the next model in my related content. So at the top of this model, you'll see we have the double helix that was in our overview model up here. And you'll see the level of detail increases as you're moving down the model. So here we have the complementary base pairs, where you can access detailed information on each one just by clicking on them. And we have the hydrogen bonds. Now, if you move even further down the model, you can actually access the atoms of each pair and of the sugar phosphate backbone. So I can zoom in a little bit here. Zoom in using our and you can access information on each of the atoms in the molecule. One thing that instructors have said to us is that it's really hard to convey just how tightly packed DNA is in the chromosome. So that is where the interactive simulations come in. The first being DNA coiling around a cluster of histones into a nucleosome. So this this simulation will kind of run back and forth to show the process of coiling and uncoiling. And of course, you'll see our double helix up at the top here. If we continue even further, we can now look at the string of nucleosomes coiling and then eventually supercoiling into chromatin. So this kind of gives a visual to students of just how tightly packed DNA is into the chromosomes. And then while we're looking at each of these parts, it is always beneficial to come back to the overview model, which shows how each of the parts fit together to make the whole. So and we'll begin the uncoiling. There we go. So I'm going to go back to the overview model and show how everything is connected, which is a really helpful visual for students to have. I'm going to go out to the main menu and we can walk through a few units in the next topic. So we'll go into the energy topic, and we're going to focus on the first 4 learning assets here. So we have a high level simulation of photosynthesis, a section of a dicot leaf, we have a plant cell, and then we have an interactive simulation of photosynthesis going on at the level of the chloroplast. So we'll start with the photosynthesis model. And this model is going to be one of our simulations, focusing, of course, on the inputs of photosynthesis and the outputs. So this information tab here will tell me as a student what my inputs and outputs are, and will overview photosynthesis. I can always play and pause if I want to get some more information on what exactly the outputs are. So here I can see oxygen is one of the outputs. We can play and pause. So we'll see the model starting over again. We have sunlight coming in. We have carbon dioxide coming in. We'll see the water coming up. And then we'll see the production of glucose, well, oxygen coming out, production of glucose, forming a new leaf. These models are incredible with just the level of detail you can get. So we can get really granular in these models and study each individual structure and its role in photosynthesis. So I can come in and highlight any of the layers of the leaf or the structures within the leaf to get some detailed information and identification over here. If we want to take a look at the structures and the layers of the leaf in a isolated view, that's where my section view comes in. So here I can get really granular with studying all of the relevant structures of photosynthesis and the relation to the other structures of the leaf. And then in the theme of going from big to small, we can progress into the plant cell. Here is our plant cell model. You can click on any structure. It's not just limited to the structures involved in photosynthesis to get identification, definition, etc. And you can hide and fade structures as well to get a better view of those structures that are underlying. One thing I will point out is the chloroplasts. You can actually hide away the outer and the inner membranes to see the granums inside. And that kind of gives you the bigger picture of the chloroplast within the plant cell. And then our final stop will be actually looking at the process of photosynthesis taking place in the chloroplast. So here we have our inputs and our outputs and the Calvin cycle. And you always have the ability to come in and study each individual structure. So I can know that's the inner membrane. I can know that this is the stroma, etc. So that kind of allows me to be guided with the simulation happening and still have the opportunity to explore the structures that are involved in the simulation. So I'm going to go back into the main menu and I'm just going to show you a couple of feature-based things. So if I'm a student and I'm studying, what do I have at my disposal to actually create some study resources from these 3D models? So the first off being annotating the models. So as a student, I can come in, I can select a structure, and I can add my structure tags. So if I know there are 5 relevant structures that I need to know for today's pop quiz, I can come in, add my structure tags, and I can save this as a model for me to review later. I also have the ability to add drawings. So here I'm just choosing a plane. If I want my arrow to be right here at this corner, I'm going to put the plane right there and I'm going to move my tag out of the way. I'm going to select an arrow and here is where I'm going to put my arrow. So as a student, I can use these tools. We have a few different shapes. They're very easy to use. And once the student chooses where they want the arrow to go, it will stick on the 3D model with the structure they're identifying. They can always add detailed notes as well. So there are my detailed notes. And then I can save this as a view. And I can refer to this later. I can also take this saved view. So I'm going to go into my library now and show you where that saved view ends up right here, view 3. I can share this with my classmates for study resources. I can share it with my instructor as a part of an assignment. If my assignment was to label relevant structures and add detailed notes. You can definitely get creative with the annotation tools as well as the ability to share these custom 3D models across platforms. I have saved a couple of other views here as an example. So here I used arrows to represent the inputs and outputs of photosynthesis, and I have my detailed notes about the dicot leaf section. Now, as the instructor, it might be in your interest to create some of these custom 3D views showing your students what is most important. And it is always helpful to string those together in a way that is easy to use and pull up during lecture. So what you can do is you can actually string those saved views together into what we call a tour, which is essentially a 3D presentation. So here is my first model annotated. My arrows are black and my background is black, so that didn't show up as much as on a white background. But you'll see there's one of 3 parts here. So as an instructor, I can string 3, 4, however many parts together and have this be a part of what I pull up in class to teach with. And the next thing that I will demonstrate is our flashcards. So our flashcards, I'll show you the finished product first, but basically you can take any of our 3D models, you can add label tags, you can add your notes, and you can turn it into an easy way for students to study. You as the instructor can create them or students can create them themselves. So to show you the finished product, I'm just going to click Start. And this is a flashcard deck on plant cell organelles. So here I have my question, if you will, is to label this structure right here. And to get the answer, all I have to do is just click on the background and it will flip to show me the right answer. And down at the bottom, I can make a note to myself if I have mastered the question or if I need to revisit it later. Now, let's say I am in the middle of studying my flashcard deck, and I remember that this is the central vacuole, but I don't remember that much information about it. I can very easily access detailed information without losing my progress in the flashcard deck by clicking on this Explore in 3D button in the top left. When I click Explore in 3D, this actually takes me back to a place where I can interact with the model. I can click on my structure and I can access my detailed information right here. I can view surrounding structures. And then when I'm ready to go back to my flashcard, I can click Return to Flashcard down at the bottom. And then I say, okay, I got that one. So this is how our flashcards are set up. And there is the flexibility, of course, for students to create them themselves or for you as the instructor to create them and share them and assign them to your students. These are just going to be individual flashcards. So those are the flashcards I created that made up my deck. And then I'll show you some quizzes as well. So these are practice quizzes, meaning that they are for my own self-study and to test my knowledge. So the quizzing environment in Visible Bodies Resources is unique in that these models are fully live. I can interact with them in any way, shape, or form that I like. And my prompt over here may require me to hide and fade and dissect some structures away. So if I want to do that, I can come in and I can press hide. I can hide any of the structures, and you can get really granular as well. So I'm not a biologist, but I think that these little teensy tiny dots right here are ribosomes. Let's see if I can click on a little teensy tiny dot. There we go. So you can see they're highlighted in blue. And I'm going to submit. So since this is a self-study quiz, it will let me know that I correctly identified the structure, and I can click next. So if I am incorrect in the structure that I'm identifying, so select any part of the Golgi complex, I'm going to select the wrong answer. And when I press submit, it will give me the option to try again, or it will show me the right answer, which is right here, highlighted in blue. So that is our self-study practice quizzes, and then lab activities. Lab activities are very easy to get to just by clicking Get Labs. And here you can download an instructor lesson plan to go along with the lab activities, and then you can download the actual lab activity as well. The way that our lab activities are designed, they're designed to have students kind of start off with structure identification and then progress into making connections and comparisons. And that is kind of the bulk of the Visible Biology product, going first into a couple of units and then into some functionality and application. So I think now would be a good time to continue on. Christy-Lynn, if you want to take the lead.
Yes, absolutely. So thank you so much, Allie. What you showed, so what Allie just showed on her screen was all of the content we have available. What you'll see from Richard Mantrana in just a moment is how he is able to use that in his classroom, not only through the labs and quizzes, but how he can actually create courses with folders and graded assignments. And all of that really great stuff is coming with Visible Biology content very soon as well. So just keep that in mind as we're looking with Richard. And again, Richard is a teacher at Miami Southwest Senior High School in Miami-Dade County in Florida, Miami-Dade County School District. And we are just thrilled to have you today. We are very excited to have you share your experience so far. And I will let you kind of share a little bit about your background and who you're teaching and how you use Visible Body.
Great. Thank you, Christine.
You're welcome.
Good afternoon to all. Like she said, I'm the lead instructor here for the Medical Academy at our wonderful Southwest Miami Senior High School, home of the Eagles. I'm also a Desert Storm veteran. I worked as a nurse for nearly 20 years in the med surge area in the OR, and I even did a little bit of home health at the end of my nursing career. And this year will be my 7th year teaching health science. I typically am not very loquacious unless I'm lecturing to my students. But when asked to speak to you all regarding Visible Body, I gratefully accept it. This may sound a little corny or cliche, but if it were not for Visible Body, the 1.5 years of Zoom instruction we all had could have easily gone in a very different direction. I can honestly say that this app not only allowed my students and I to remain on pace, but I also noticed a rise in their comprehension, grades, not to mention a considerable rise in my mid and end of year assessments. You know, sometimes we as educators fall into a bit of a routine, which in turn brings about boredom at work that leads to lack of interest by the students. But using this app and all it offers allows you to have fun while being creative, and not to mention lets you look like the most knowledgeable and coolest teacher in school. It's got all the high tech stuff. I myself, I'm not very tech savvy kind of guy. Thankfully, Visible Body is an old school teacher friendly app that is easy to use. If I can use it, anyone can. The only one thing that I suggest that you must do is dedicate some time to play with the app and attend the instructional webinars that are offered. I cannot stress it enough, the need to play with it beforehand. This preparation will prevent you from eating up your instructional time, and it'll, like I said before, it'll make you look so knowledgeable and cool to all the students. It's also very crucial that the teachers grant their students the solo opportunity to warm up to the app and explore its many features before jumping into it. There are many ways in which the app is beneficial to us as teachers. DI, or differentiated instruction, something that is harped on by most counties, is easily attainable and used during each instructional period. This quiz feature has pre-made quizzes that you can tweak, as I do, to construct your very own tests and quizzes. It has tons of questions to choose from in a variety of levels. Another benefit is that the students' grades and quiz stats are kept for you to refer to or use when assessing your classes, and it also serves as a firepower for parent-teacher conferences. We all know that students somehow, seem to always explain things to their parents in a much different version. So it helps us in that aspect as well. Augmented reality. This is found in the Atlas app. It's a fan for all my students, fan favorite to all my students. They absolutely love using it and even show it off to their family and friends, believe it or not. Is it especially liked by students with 504s? The need to stop instruction and redirect students becomes almost non-existent when using the app. Students remain focused and engaged. And I promise you, you would too. Imagine having a 3D heart or any other organ on your desk that you can interact with. It's unbelievable. Excuse me. Also, the Visible Body app makes teaching easy and fun by keeping your students interested and, most importantly, engaged. My colleague, Mr. De Jesus, makes use of the VB app by using it to prepare his junior year medical academy students for their EKG certification exam. He can show his students a heart with bradycardia, tachycardia, a normal sinus rhythm, alongside an EKG monitor strip line. He can even throw in the conduction system of the heart at the same time. Thanks to the app, he was, or his wonderful teaching, he was able to maintain a high passing percentage rate for his EKG certification students. I don't know what your demographics are like at your schools, but ours is over 95% Hispanic. The reading and ESO teachers have also benefited and have seen an improvement in their students thanks to Visible Body. Now, how can they do this? Next, I'll show you how we're able to assist and a few ways in which I use the app. Let me start sharing the screen with you here. My courses, I'm going to jump in here. Like I said, these are my classes. I have 4 periods of AP. Vascular. And this is what we're learning now, which is the blood flow of the heart. As I said, we start with a little overview. And these are different lessons that you look through, choose, pick and choose, and you can offer them individually, as I do, not to overwhelm the students, because my students of A&P, they're only 9th graders. So we go little by little. So I first show them a little overview of the heart. Let's see while this is loading. The overviews are wonderful because they serve as a refresher. This is, that's the way I use it. And the stuff that some of the stuff we've gone over already, but just to get the class started. There we go. There we go. Wonderful video, entertaining video.
The heart is a muscular organ that functions as a double pump to control blood flow. The heart of an adult male is slightly larger than that of an adult female. On average, a normal adult heart is about the size of a fist and weighs approximately 300 grams, less than 1 pound. The exterior of the heart has a conical shape. The interior of the heart is divided into 4 hollow chambers, enclosed by a layered wall. The heart has a right and a left side, each side with 2 chambers, an atrium and a ventricle. The right and left sides of the heart work in coordination to pump oxygenated blood throughout the body and deoxygenated blood to the lungs. The heart of a healthy adult beats about 60 to 70 times a minute to keep blood constantly moving. Within the thoracic cavity, there is a thin sac known as the pericardium that encloses and protects the heart.
All right, so this is actually the lesson I'm going to be teaching my kids tomorrow, and how to set up. So I'll start with a little brief interview. Then here's what they love. This is a lab activity that I place on the Promethean board. Okay, and this works like a QR code, very similar to a QR code. They come up with their device, they scan it, they go back to their seats, and now they have the augmented reality on their device. So they get to open it up, and now they have that 3D heart that I spoke of earlier on their desk. So that, along with their notes that we prepared before, they use that, and then I continue the lesson. So the next thing, after they have this, I also put this view on the Promethean board. That way, now they have their notes, they have the 3D heart on their desk, and now on Promethean board, they have this. So what we're learning right now is the flow of blood through the heart. This, let me show you how this works. So they've got their notes, and they know that blood enters the heart via the superior and inferior vena cava. I'm able to go step by step. So I click on this, it highlights, and then here's where I said that it helps the ESO kids. This pronunciation, this little speaker is a lifesaver for me. Okay, the kids, and I have, especially the ones that I know are a little lower ESO, I have them pronounce, well, the whole class really, but it helps for them to hear it.
Superior vena cava.
And then, like I said, also the reading teachers, they love, because all this information that's given, the kids get to practice their reading. And we have them in separate groups, thanks for the DI. So I know where my kids at, the ones that need to better a little bit in their reading. So I have them do all the reading. Of course, I let some of the more advanced ones also, especially if I'm running a little behind. But everybody takes part. So there we go. Click on that. Okay. And then once I click on it, then I twist it on here. I give them all the different views. While I'm doing this, I let them on their device, they also go through it and they move it around with the, I wish I could show it. Well, I think Christine will show you a little later. You're able to enter and pretend that you're blood. So with that, with the devices the kids have, the augmented reality. So they go through here, but here I show them all the different views. And then we move on with the lesson. Blood. Then, oh, wait, the inferior vena cava. And I do the same here. Okay. The pronunciation. And I show them the different views of what it looks like from different views of the heart. And we continue again. And blood then flows to the
Right atrium.
right atrium. Now, again, the kids continue to read. And I do this each step as the flow of blood to the heart that they have already, but now they're seeing it, they're listening to pronunciation, and they're reading. Okay, they're reading information regarding whatever it is, the tricuspid valve here. And again, you have to play with it. There's all these little things like there.
Tricuspid valve.
Beautiful. Again, and you go, they can go inside. See, I'm limited with this, but with their app, they can go inside, start from the inferior superior cava, vena cava, go through the right atrium, and pass through the tricuspid valve, pretending that there was blood. So I continue until finally, last few, well, that's the pulmonary, I'm sorry. Or till it ends here. Yeah. Continue the whole route.
Aorta.
Until we finish to the aorta, and then they know now after it leaves the aorta from the prior lessons, they know that it circulates throughout the body and it returns to the heart via the superior and inferior vena cava. And that's just a brief little lesson, but you do it step by step. Here they get to see it on the Promethean. They get to interact on their desk, which is huge. Like I mentioned before, for the 504s, they never become bored. They're never bored. You never have to redirect. Well, hardly ever redirect. Okay, because they're loving it. They're loving the interaction with it. And then, like I said earlier, yeah, all the reading that some of the teachers here have mentioned have gotten a little better. My colleague, he's been able to use it. Okay, it's been definitely beneficial. Christy Lynn, I think you wanted to show them how it looks like from a student's point of view.
Yes, absolutely.
All right.
So I'll share this. I'm going to share this from my iPad, and this can be, Human Anatomy Atlas can be downloaded onto an iPad or an Android device. It could also be a phone, just iOS or Android. And this will come with every student's access to, sorry, let me try to reshare this. This will come with every student's access to visible body courseware. So this is one of our apps that covers content on anatomy and the body systems. And if I'm looking at my view here, I can go to the heart. And as Mr. Richard Mantrana was showing, you can use this very easily to manipulate it and see the different angles. As a student, I have access to kind of control that. It is really nice on a mobile device too, because as we know, students and we as well are so used to doing things from touchscreen. So it's just super intuitive. And then there's this button in the bottom left corner that says AR, and I'm going to click that button. So this is what Richard was saying. He has his students come up to the screen and they will just use this, and it will actually come off of the screen with a blue arrow where the heart is for that particular structure. And then it will open up on their device with the model. So if you can see, this is my workspace right here. Students will have that right there on their desk in front of them. And I can hover, like Richard was saying, I can act as if I'm the blood, and I can push in here, kind of have a little bit of a magic school bus feel going on where you can really dive in. And again, I can use the functionality here to hide structures. I can just simply move things out of my way by dissecting them. So if I really want to see what things look like without being blocked, oh, let me go back to that. And I'm going to go back. I can add the structure back in and just fade it if I'd like to see kind of what that looks like transparently as opposed to removing it. But again, you just have full access to it. I can have all of the same functionality where I'm getting that pronunciation in my top corner. I don't think the volume is coming through from my iPad.
Right atrium.
It is. I think there must be a lag, which is very common when I'm doing this from my iPad on Zoom. But I have related pathology. So as the students might look through and learn about different things that could be affecting the heart, they can read about those as well, and you still get that definition. Is there anything you would add here, Richard, about how your students use this that I could show?
No, that's exactly what they do. They dissect, they interact, which was what you want. You want them to stay engaged, but we do have them follow the lesson depending on what the lesson is about. Like I said, what we're learning now is a flow of blood through the heart. So that's what they concentrate on. Okay, they try and pretend that's one of their tasks that I have them. Pretend that you're the blood and start as we move along. They need to move through the app as if they were the blood. Okay, you can see how it goes throughout the entire heart.
As a note as well, with the augmented reality, you can actually have students get up and move around. They can be standing and they can walk and see different angles of the model and get kind of, physical with it and move around and
great thing is you can reposition it wherever you're at, and as long as you have a flat surface, it pops up right there. That's why the kids love it. They show their other friends in different classes. They'll show their families. Oh, parents, I had emails from parents writing back how wonderful this is. The kids love it. They're using it, playing with it at home. So, wow. Awesome.
That's wonderful.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's very cool because we think about it as a way for the students to take the lab home with them or anywhere. I mean, if they're spending time after school in the library or they have an after school program where they go to do homework, they have this basically in the back of their pocket anywhere that they go. And since you mentioned really kind of getting that full picture of the beating heart, we do have this app as well that has the live beating heart, and this is also included in courseware. And this is a nice segue after learning about the structures and reading through the modules. Now the students can actually come in and take a look at this unit of the heart actually beating. In the top right corner, there are arrow keys that I can toggle to the next part of this lesson. And you can control the EKG down below and scan that. We can also control the beats per minute and make it slower or speed it up and see the difference there. I can turn off the heartbeat sound, or I can turn off the electrical current and just add in the blood flow and the direction. So they really get a good picture now after they've gone through their lesson.
Yes, this is the one I mentioned that helps my colleague, Mr. D. He uses for his EKG students, certification students.
Perfect. So I'm just going to exit out of that. And I will switch it back over to you, Richard.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, you're welcome.
Right. Now, I also mentioned earlier regarding quizzes. I have here, go back to visible body courseware. My courses here. Okay. And you create a new assignment. Okay. I'll go there, created quizzes. Here you see also we have question bank. Which what I spoke to you about earlier. I have a whole bunch of different variety of questions that let you choose from. Look, 4 pages. This is just 1 page. Okay. Depending on the system, of course, you put it in here. The question type, short answer, multiple choice, the topic. know, cardiocirculatory system, what we're doing now, subtopic, whatever. But right now, for me, I created one myself. Let me show you this here. Delayed here. Create the assignment. Back to graded quizzes. You continue. Right. Here it is. Visible body heart quiz. Okay. This is one I created myself. You can preview it here. It is here. Continue. And here you have to input some information. You name your assignment, maybe heart quiz. This quiz won't be for a while because we're just a lesson, maybe a little quiz on Friday. Release, no, assignment folder. Here we have, you go back to your folders that you created before. So we're working on the cardiovascular system, so I assign it to that. Point value, just one. Grade is a percentage. Attempts, quiz, give them a variety of attempts. It's just a quiz or just one. Partial credit, yeah, why not? Depends on how nice you are. This helps a lot. At the end of the quiz, the feedback, show correct answers. That's awesome. Kids love that. Okay, you get to review. And then you go down here, it says publish. Wish to publish? Yes, I do. Okay, so now I have here in my folders, we go back, you can see, go to my courses again, go here, my cardiovascular system opens up for me. Huh? There we go. Here's my VB quiz. You assign it to the students. All they have to do is go log in and go to their class period. There's the quiz. I have to open it up for them. Here's the copy. Let's see. So who wants to take the quiz with me? I'll do a few. Go hard. Approximately the size of, let's say, hey, oops. See if we do well on a few. Except, I think this is the right answer. Then continue. As you can see, you finish up the quiz very easily for the kids. They submit. Again, you have the stats and the scores. There you can see your kids. The lesson went well. If you need to tweak it some more, the kids aren't understanding. Well, you guys know as teachers how that works. But I can't tell you how grateful I am for this program, especially as I mentioned earlier. The years, a year and a half that we were on Zoom, I heard other core class teachers, biology teachers, how they were struggling a little bit, and I said, "Ooh, it sucks for you. Sorry to hear that, but I'm doing great." Visible body and a little something else, and that I have another little program we have, and my kids didn't miss a beat. The only thing, obviously, was the hands-on things, but I can't do anything about that. Yeah.
And Richard, now that you're in school again, are you guys utilizing this for any students that do need to be virtual? Are there times when students
some kids are quarantined, and like I said, if I can Zoom, they can see the same thing I have on the Promethean, and the same, I put it on the board, and they can scan it also. They can do it from home. All you need is a flat surface, and the little augmented reality pops up wherever you're at. Yeah, like I said, they don't miss a beat.
Yeah, that's really great to hear.
Okay.
Yeah.
Christy Lynn, anything else you want to add? I guess.
I think, yeah. So just to kind of summarize and wrap up what you were able to see today with Allie in biology and with Richard in the more, anatomy-based content. Our goal is always to make the material easy for you to use right away and just get to the teaching. So I know, as Richard said, you definitely want to give yourself time to play with it and get familiar, but we really try to have it as easy as possible for you to get to the heart of the teaching, because we know that's what you want to do as opposed to learning a new technology. And we have a really wonderful support team and customer engagement team that walks you, through all of the steps of getting started, becoming familiar, setting up and publishing courses and assignments. So we are definitely here for every step of the way. And this is what we love to do, and we love to see you and your students be successful. So if you have any questions about that, please let us know. And
real quick, Christy,
yeah,
to continue the brownie points here. If it's anything in biology as good as it is for me in A&P, trust me, your kids are you're gonna see it in the assessments you do. Your kids are gonna do much better, and they're gonna love it. They're gonna enjoy it, and you're gonna enjoy it too. You're gonna enjoy it a whole lot, I promise.
no.
All right.
So it's so great to hear. And please, feel free to just add in anytime if there's anything that comes up, Richard, that you'd like to share. But we will now open it up for questions. So please feel free to type in a question in the question and answer box or raise your hand. We will also happily take questions live. So we do have a question from Paul Wagner. And the question is, can instructors put VB on multiple devices like a tablet and a phone rather than one device? So I'm not sure what this answer live button does. Courtney, do you happen to know? Let's see what that does.
Let's have some fun. Let's do it.
Okay. So it says, would you like to answer it? Done. Okay. So, instead of typing. Got it. Okay. So Paul, thank you so much for that question. Yes. So with Visible Body courseware, you will get, and let me just share my screen. You will have access here to the mobile apps. These will be available from any computer. So that's the really nice part. They are web-based, and you don't need to download them, or you don't need to install them on any devices. You can use them from any, you open them up when you're in your classroom from that specific computer, or you can open them up when you're home from your own personal device. Having said that, you also do get one of each of the mobile apps down below. And so these, you can put one of them, you get one copy of each. So you can have, let's say, Atlas on one of your devices, like an iPad, and then if you want A&P on your phone, you can kind of break it up that way. And then you can always work with your account manager just to ask any questions if you need extra copies, or you kind of have questions about putting them on devices in your lab space, etc. Definitely reach out and work with like your rep or account manager. Okay. We have a couple other questions. So we just talked through the mobile apps. Right now for Visible Biology, this is a web-based app. So we have that available on the web version. We do not yet have the mobile download for biology, but as soon as we have that kind of in the works, we will definitely be sending updates about that. And let's see. Yes, so we have a question about how do you get access. So we will definitely follow up with you. I see your email and contact information here, Dr. Ghosh. And if anyone else is interested, please feel free to send me an email, or I'll put that in the chat box right now, and I'll get you connected to your specific sales rep or account manager that will help kind of talk through the options and what will be the best fit for what you need. You can always also email support@visiblebody.com. So I'm going to send that email your way as well. And then that will, our support team will connect you to your rep that covers your account. But we're also happy to start you off with a trial. We definitely recognize that there are times where you need to have time to evaluate it first before making a decision. So we're happy to set up trial accounts, and please send those requests our way. Let's see if there's any other questions. Okay, so Michael asks, what is the cost and are subscriptions for schools, individual classes, or individual teachers? So great question. We have site license or school-wide subscriptions that are available for your school. And the best way to get a quote is going to be to connect with your account rep who covers your school. And that way you guys can work together on the best fit and how many students you're serving or looking for. So if you could drop your email address in here, we'll make sure to get that over to the correct rep as well. But we mostly have subscriptions that are going to be school-wide, or you could purchase codes that will be for a set number of students in a given class, for example. We have schools that do that as well. So if you just are one teacher who has 24 students and you just want to get started with those students, you can do 24 codes, for example. Perfect. Okay, just looking here. Victoria, thank you for your question. So Victoria works at the San Diego Zoo, so it's very cool to have you here. The question is, do you know of any other informal education centers that use Visible Body? So we actually can talk to our business development account manager and get that information to you. I'm not sure off the top of my head. I don't know if Courtney or Allie.
I have one.
Yay.
I have a vet tech program that I work with that uses Visible Body's resources.
Wonderful. Yeah, so we'll definitely.
I actually have a very cool one. This was a professor who uses it in his class, Visible Body, but he also uses it as a medical professional in court during court cases to teach juries, things about the body, whatever, the case happens to be, which was a very, very cool kind of case use for it.
Oh yeah, that's amazing. It's so fun to hear the different things that come up too when as we're meeting new interest. Okay, I think there's another one. Let me just make sure I'm copying this contact information. Let's see here. So thank you, Victoria. We appreciate that. Are more options being developed for a wider range of biology topics? So yes, the answer is yes. Courtney, I don't know if you want to jump in with anything specific that you.
So the thing that we are currently working on right now are animal form and function. So students will be able to virtually dissect 4 animal specimens, which I believe are a sea star, a fetal pig, an earthworm, and the other one. I can't remember what the 4th one is, but those are coming. And we will also be diving into some ecology topics.
Awesome. And that brings up a good point too, is that this is, since the product recently launched, it is very much an iterative product, and kind of we are definitely working on building it out and up. So we love to get feedback on it. We love to meet with you personally and just show you more of the product and answer your questions about the product and hear from you about how it would fit into your course or just gain feedback. Visible Body loves feedback. We take it very seriously. It's kind of the way that we run. So we're happy to meet with you, and we accept all of it, the good, the bad, the ugly, everything we can get. Okay. I think that's see if there's any more questions. Okay. It looks like there are no more questions right now. And let's just do a chime check. So yeah, we're coming up right on the end, right at the 5 o'clock Eastern time hour. So thank you guys so very much for joining us today. Huge thank you to Allie for being here with us to present the biology content. And then huge thank you so much to Richard Mantrana from...
Thank you guys. You guys saved me.
Oh, thank you. All the way from Miami. So we truly appreciate your time. It is lovely. We certainly did not tell Richard to say any of this. We we are just as pleased to hear it as anyone could be. So
Did not
it's
get
just
paid
an
either.
honor.
Nothing. No.
So yes, thank you guys so much. We will follow up and just let us know if any questions come up. We are here to help. Awesome. So thank you guys. Have a great rest of your evening.
I think we could probably stay on for a couple or more minutes just in case there are any last questions, but I think we're gonna have a hard end at 5. So
Perfect. Sounds
It looks
good.
like there's one hand raised.
Oh, did I miss that? Oh, that's my hand raise. How do I see that in the participants?
Yeah,
Oh, I see.
participants.
Okay. So let's see if he's still in. Is he Dr. Ghosh? I know. Dr. Ghosh, do you still have a question that we can help answer? Or did we answer that? Let's see. We'll definitely follow up.
Nope, it looks
Perfect.
like
Okay. Thank you
Dr.
so
Ghosh is
much.
good.
Thanks for catching that, Allie. And now my hand is raised. I put my hand down. There we go.
And for those of you who are kind of sticking around up until the very end, remember you can always reach out to us at support@visiblebody.com for any kind of question. It'll be immediately shunted to the right person, and we are very, very good and quick about getting back to you.
And then there's a question from Rebecca as well. For students who've purchased access to courseware, does the license extend from Visible Body to Visible Biology? So I think the state of that right now is that Visible Biology is actually accessible from all current users' courseware accounts right now. So you can go into the My Apps page and you can access biology right now.
Yeah. And it will say right now, it says that it's preview available now. So the best way to kind of work through that is to contact the rep that covers your account and talk with them about adding in like the full version, or how, just kind of connect on how you plan on using it, etc. But it's definitely there for preview.
Paul, I see your question about the mobile app, and I'm actually your account manager, so I can send you an email and help you get that mobile app reinstalled.
Oh, and Phil, looks like Phil has a question about solo, like educator type of subscriptions or purchase options. We have some specific subscription options. They typically include having students access it to come with the educating or teaching permissions. So the best thing to do is to talk through that with your account rep and see what is going to be the best fit. And I do have your email address noted down, so we'll follow up with you about that. Oh, wonderful. That's great to know. Perfect. Thank you as well. Okay, how
Okay.
are we looking?
It is, according to my computer, which sometimes lags in the time, it is 5:02. So I think it is time to release everybody back into the world.